raised in Minnesota in a rural community on a Native American reservation. My mother was Catholic, and she went to the church on the reservation. My father wasn't. And so I had the influence of the importance of giving and Sunday offering and giving to the poor. And we were, of course, the poorest of the poor, probably. But still the attitude that you could always do something. So requirement of the importance of regularity of giving was certainly imprinted upon me. And then having to use my gopher feet money for 10 cents into the plate on Sunday. I had to come from my own money. And the only way I could make any money was, gopher feet. Yes, that was my source of revenue as a young child. Again, the participation in the sense of youth leadership was really, 4-H was the godsend for me in providing a way in which I could help the community through the various projects and being engaged as a 4-H'er for 12 years. So that tradition certainly has stayed with me and shaped my feelings about, maybe not just feelings, but certainly shaped my view on how philanthropy should be, both through giving of time and money, but also, more importantly, talent in terms of addressing the issues in the community. I became a teacher. I studied political science and business, and I taught high school for a year, and then went on to graduate school at Illinois and in library science. And then, then it was University of Iowa, where I went into the PhD program in business, actually. Mm-hmm. But very short. I was working full time there at the University of Iowa Library, in business library and half-time in reference. And but that only lasted for 6 months, and I was drafted into the military, the Army during Vietnam. Spent my 2 years in the military, and then went from there to St. Cloud, was on the faculty there for 4 years, and then went on and got my PhD in Florida. And at Florida, from there it was, Evansville and my first dean's job. And so I was engaged in fundraising with the board of the university in raising the money and doing grant requests to raise the money to build new building. So it was really there that it started in a more direct way. And then at Bowling Green, when the president, it really was somewhat accidental, becoming very directly involved. As the Dean of Libraries, I was very involved working with the Friends of the Library and raising money for the University Library. But it was when the president really called me in his office one day and said, "I'd like you to be the acting vice president for university relations while we make a national search." Our current vice president just resigned. So, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. And so, that turned into becoming the permanent vice president and president of the foundation at Bowling Green. And of course, in that role is what really piqued my historical interest, because I was working with donors and significant major donors. And in our conversations and talking about why they were making a gift and their engagement really led me to want to know more about the tradition of philanthropy, and which led me to, here in 1990, when Bob Payton called me one day and said, "Won't you come for an interview?" I was their first director of academic programs and research, and developed the master's program, and then the doctoral program, and then the undergrad program.